are really nice improvements, improvements to newer items that they added. I probably guarantee a lot of people here have, in one time or another, created or tried to create equations so that you're, like in a railing like this, if you wanted to keep the number of holes, you had to make an equation to limit the instance number or the spacing depending on how long the part was, right? Before you had to do that with an equation, because if we were to lessen this, our pattern failed, right? Well, now what we can do is we can now use an up to reference option to control either the number of entities or the spacing between them. You can also set a offset from that reference, and this also works with referencing externally in assembly to another part. So now when that is changed, my instance updates. And again, that also works with number of instances, in which case my spacing updates. So a really nice tool, no need for an equation now. Makes it really nice, less to worry about. If anyone's ever done patterns a lot, trying to switch from feature pattern to body pattern, remember you couldn't do it before, you had to completely delete the pattern in order to do that. For instance, this carbide tooth here would be better if this was an individual body, which again breaks my pattern. Where before we had to delete it and recreate it. Well, now we can switch from features and faces to pattern to bodies to pattern. So we don't have to delete the feature, we just have to fix it there. Nice improvement there. The build patterns have been improved as well. We now can validate the count before we OK the part or OK the feature. That count is also input into an annotation type, which also works if one of those instances is removed. That's parametric, so it updates automatically. Another nice thing is this is, again, an annotation type, so it can be linked in a drawing to notes or leaders or anything like that. We can link that count. Anyone use, I think it was last year they introduced it as well, the variable pattern tool in the linear pattern and circular pattern features. Not a whole lot. It was a little clunky to begin with. You had to set up everything right within the feature. They've now created the variable pattern as its own feature. All I need to do is select the feature I want to pattern. I can base it off of sketch or reference geometry. And now everything is based off of a table. Or it's just like a design table where I come in and select the entities that I want to control. I'll add the amount of entities that I want to have in my table. I'm going to have about 20, so I'll rotate these about 18 degrees off from one another. And this works like Excel. I can auto-populate items. There are multiple items here. Copy and paste these to fill out my table quickly. And get a preview right from within my table. So I don't have to OK the feature just to see the preview of my variable pattern. Nice item there. Same thing, the holes in the colander, in this colander, were also created with a variable pattern. So the tables are very able as far as what you can control. It's a lot more flexible now. You can see here we actually control the pitch circle, how far the holes are off from the center, the number of instances, and the angle between them. And this can get pretty complicated as well as far as how you want to control items. This football cleat was created with a variable pattern. can see that it's actually based off of a positioning sketch, a 3D sketch, as well as a plane for the extrusion. You can see here that the pattern table is all done there. The nice thing is all of these features are also, because they're table driven, they're all fairly independent from one another. So if we want to change a dimension on one of them, we just need to click on that instance, select the dimension and edit it, and it will now change that particular instance's variable. Again, this can get pretty complicated as far as how much you want to control. All of this tread pattern here was created with the variable pattern, and this is actually controlling a spline and how deep that spline is cut. And you can control a lot of items. So definitely something to look into, something that you might not have thought about being able to use as a pattern before can probably be now with this new variable pattern feature.